Washington couple drove into the North Cascades for a casual one-night camping trip and simply ceased to exist. Investigators found only their secured vehicle before the trail went cold, and for 4 years, their file sat dormant with no new leads. The mystery finally broke open in a forest miles from the initial search, where a logger was attempting to remove an old rusted wood chipper from a remote track. The machine's contents, dislodged by the movement, would take the investigation in a completely new and unsettling direction. The accumulation of mail spilling out of the aluminum box was the first sign that the routine rhythm of the Klugman household had stopped. It was September 18, 2015. Tiernan Klugman stood on the front porch of his parents' home, a modest single-story house on the outskirts of Seattle, Washington. He was there for their weekly coffee, a tradition they rarely missed. But the silence hanging over the property felt heavy and wrong. Tiernan knocked, then rang the doorbell. Nothing stirred inside. He called his mother, Delphine, then his father, Rorik. Both calls went straight to voicemail. His parents, Rorik, 57, and Delphine, 58, were creatures of habit, predictable in their retirement age routines. He fumbled for the spare key kept under a ceramic frog by the door. As he turned the lock and pushed the door open, the atmosphere inside the house rushed out to meet him. It wasn't just the stale air, it was an overwhelming, suffocating stench. The odor of animal waste was so potent, it burned his eyes. Tiernan stepped into the living room and stopped dead. The house looked as if a localized hurricane had torn through it. Furniture was overturned. The sofa cushions were ripped open, their foam stuffing scattered across the carpet like snow. Claw marks scarred the wooden door frames. The carpet itself was soiled beyond recognition. "Mom? Dad?" Tiernan called out, his voice tight with fear. He moved through the chaos, trying to understand what he was seeing. It looked like a break-in, yet the television was still mounted on the wall. His mother's jewelry box was visible on the bedroom dresser. Then he heard it, a faint, pathetic scratching sound coming from the back of the house. He followed the sound to the utility room. The door was closed, the area around the bottom splintered and gouged. He opened it. Inside, huddled in the corner on a soiled blanket, was the family dog, a golden retriever named Sonny. But the animal was barely recognizable. Sonny was severely emaciated, his ribs protruding sharply beneath matted fur. He was dehydrated to the point of delirium, barely able to lift his head. The water bowl nearby was bone dry, coated in dust. The sight of the dog broke through Tiernan's confusion and replaced it with pure terror. Rorik and Delphine adored Sonny. The idea that they would leave him locked in this room, alone, without food or water, long enough for him to nearly die and destroy the house in a desperate attempt to escape, was inconceivable. It defied everything Tiernan knew about his parents. It meant they hadn't just left. Something catastrophic had prevented their return. Judging by the state of the dog in the house, Tiernan estimated they had been gone for at least a week. He immediately dialed 911. Within the hour, the house was an active scene. Authorities began the urgent process of tracing the Klugmans' last movements. Tiernan, reeling from the shock, provided the initial timeline. His parents had planned a short trip. On September 11th, exactly 1 week prior, they had departed for a one-night camping excursion in North Cascades National Park. It was meant to be a casual getaway,